Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a really kind of deep dive look into a particular company or a particular product or a particular creator. And today I'm going to do the second Alakazam review show special. Now, a few weeks ago, I did an Alakazam review show special where I looked at some of their much older items. And if you want to go and have a look at that, you can do. It was really, really popular, and there's a whole bunch of tricks on there that I'd highly recommend getting. I'm doing another review show special tonight. And tonight's review show special, although it's on Alakazam, I'm going to have a look at a couple of their older items. And I'm also going to have a look at a couple of brand new items, because about a week ago, they launched a new product, which is called the Jameson wallet. There's been a big buzz on the internet about the Jameson wallet, so I'm having a look at that. And they also relaunched Will to Read. The relaunched Will to Read, which is by my friend Steve Della, which is a kind of a mentalism trick that you can keep inside your wallet. So they've re-released Will to Read, which came out a few years ago. They've brought out the Jameson wallet. So I'm going to have a look at those two new items, and I'm also going to have a look at two of the classic items from Alakazam. I've got to be honest, these are items that I've done for a very long time. I think they're absolutely fantastic, but I'm bringing them to your attention because I think there's a lot of people that don't do these tricks. So there you go. That's what's going to happen in this review show special. Don't forget, if there is a particular special that you'd like me to do, whether it be on a creator or a product or a company, please let me know and I will get onto it. Absolutely not a problem at all. But without further ado, we're going to start off by having a look at the latest Magic wallet on the Magic scene, which is the Jameson wallet. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be looking at on today's review show special is the Jameson wallet by Ian Bailey and Alakazam Magic, obviously, as it's an Alakazam review show special. Now, if the name Ian Bailey is familiar to you, it's because Ian released a couple of months ago with Alakazam a trick called Made to Measure, which was the tape measure prediction. I actually did a review show special on that, and it was very good. I've done it a few times in my cabaret show since doing that review show special. It is a really good trick. This is another one by Ian, and it is basically a card to wallet. That's what we have here. This is a card to wallet. Let's open it up here and show you. What you get is you get this wallet. Now, the first thing I want you to see is this is a little bit like the Nexus wallet. It's a little bit like the Shadow wallet in that it's super thin, like ridiculously thin. It's more of a modern style wallet compared to the JOL wallets and compared to kind of the bigger wallets. This is a more modern looking wallet. Now, not that I'm saying, I've had people turn around to me on this channel before and they've said, are you saying that the JOL wallet is no good and it's not used anymore? I'm not saying that at all. The JOL wallet is fantastic. Prop Dog have an amazing range of wallets and I recommend them. I've used the JOL wallet for years, but the fact is, it is a more of an older style looking wallet. Less people carry a wallet like that around these days. They're more likely to carry a wallet around like this. Now, there's an argument to say that's not a problem. You're a performer. You can have whatever wallet you want. That's right. But if you want people to look at the wallet and have it look just like a normal wallet, then you want to, you want to go for a more modern style wallet. You just do. So the big difference, and I know every single time a new wallet comes out, people ask me, well, what's the difference between this and the Nexus? What's the difference between this and the Shadow wallet? The big difference between, well, first of all, it's completely different to the Shadow wallet because there's no peak on this at all. This is not a peak style wallet. Alakazam have a very long history of ringing out wallets that are designed for mentalism. I mean, the Stealth Assassin wallet was for many, many years the go-to wallet for mentalists around the whole of the world. And the Stealth Assassin wallet was one of the very first wallets that did a whole bunch of stuff. It had an SUC peak built into it, had another peak built into it, it had a billet built, like a multi-out thing built into it. There's a lot that the Stealth Assassin did. This has no peak to it. This is pure and simple, a card to wallet. If you want to compare this to anything, you'd compare it to a JOL wallet, maybe the FPS wallet by Brent Braun, or definitely the Nexus wallet. Now, the big difference between this and the Nexus wallet is the Nexus wallet has a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It has a card to wallet. It has a it has a peak. It has the ID change. It has so much stuff built into it. This does one thing and it does it really well. This is card to wallet. There's not multiple sections. One thing that, and I don't have a problem with this, I use the Nexus wallet all the time, but having read the feedback and looked at the feedback and read the comments that people said after I reviewed the Nexus wallet, some people said, well, my problem with the Nexus wallet is there's too much going on. There's lots of flaps to open up. There's lots of compartments. That's absolutely fine. That's your own opinion. That's absolutely cool. This does not have a lot of flaps to it at all. This has just got one section, which is right here. And by the way, the zip works really well. I know that that's a big concern for some people. The zip works really, really well. And then you've got these compartments here. You've got 5 credit card slots. One of these credit card slots is how the card gets into the wallet. The top credit card slot is how the card gets into the wallet. It is a very quick loading wallet. And there's nothing else to it. That's all it is. Now, you can put other stuff inside here. If you want to use it as an everyday wallet, you can put money in there. It'll be nice and secure in there. These sections here, you can put your own credit cards in. So you can use this as your everyday wallet. If you're using Gossip or something like Will to Read or one of the other routines in Alakazam's packet trick range, wallet range, then they'll fit in there really well. I've just tried Gossip in here and it works perfectly. And these 5 slots are great for Gossip, by the way. I don't want to promote my own trick, but they're great for Gossip because you can actually have 5 credit cards here and you can have a different out behind each credit card, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's very minimalistic compared to every other wallet on the market, even the Shadow wallet, which is very minimalistic as well. This is even more minimalistic. I mean, it is literally just this. It's made out of leather. You've got black and brown. You can look at the pictures side by side on the Alakazam website. Just search for Jameson wallet, and you can see the pictures. One's black, one's brown. So the question is, why should you buy this over any other card to wallet? Well, first of all, like I say, it is super thin. The load of it is really quick. So on the tutorial, I want to cover this completely in depth because I know people have got a lot of questions about this. The tutorial is very different to a normal Alakazam tutorial. Normally, Alakazam go really deep when they do a tutorial on a particular product. This is just half an hour long, the tutorial. Ian covers 2 tricks. So the first trick he covers is a card to wallet, which is a very funny presentation. Ian is a very personable performer, and he goes through the whole routine step by step and breaks down how to get the card into the wallet. The second routine is more of a mentalism trick. It doesn't use playing cards. It's kind of an Amazon thing. So you have somebody think of a gift that they want to give somebody, and what's the name of the person you want to give it to, and ultimately at the end of the day, that is inside the wallet. You know, you've got a gift tag in there for the with the name of the person on you want to give it to, and also the product. It's quite nice. Reminds me a little bit of kind of a collared style thing by John Archer. Those are the 2 routines, and that's it. It's half an hour thing. So for those of you that are used to like a 2 or 3 hour explanation video like you got with the Stealth Assassin wallet, it's not that. But Ian has explained those 2 routines really well. Loading the card into the wallet. If it's inside the wallet, Ian suggests using a slide. The slide he suggests using is either a credit card or a business card. He advocates using a business card so that it's in the wallet, the business card's sticking over the top, boom, it'll go straight in, which then allows you to take out the card and also at the same time take out the business card, which makes sense, absolutely makes sense. It is a very quick loading wallet. It reminds me a lot of the Nexus wallet, but if you don't want all the extra stuff with the Nexus, if you don't want the peak and you don't want the other stuff, then this is a really good modern style card to wallet. This is more of a modern looking wallet and a more thin looking wallet than the FPS wallet. It's more of a modern style looking wallet than the JOL. You really when it comes to cards and wallets, you really want to compare. I haven't seen the Hermes wallet yet. That's something that I will be looking at, so I can't compare it to that because I haven't seen it. So for those of you in the comments that say, how is this going to compare to the Hermes wallet, I'm not too sure. What I am going to do at some point is I'm going to do a video when the Hermes wallet has been reviewed. I'm going to do something where I'm looking at each individual wallet and give the pros and cons of each one. But for me, this is most comparable out of the wallets I've seen with the Nexus wallet. It just depends on whether you want the extra bits and pieces that are with the Nexus wallet. If you don't, and you just want a card to wallet, this is a very good price. Very, very thin, much thinner than the Nexus wallet. But if you want all the bells and whistles that you get with the Nexus wallet, the load is very similar. The load into this wallet and the load with the Nexus wallet is very similar. It's just that this is more minimalistic. There is one advantage over the Nexus wallet with this when it comes to the load. Something I've discovered you can do that you can't do with the Nexus wallet. So one of my favorite wallets for many years was the Mullica wallet. And if you don't know what the Mullica wallet is, it's a wallet that you put down on the table and you have a card picked. There's no palm. And then what you do is you take the wallet, you open up the wallet and you say inside the wallet is another wallet, and you open up that wallet and inside that wallet is the card. And it's a way of loading it in while it's on the table. So you load it underneath the wallet. As you take the other wallet out, you load, you move it to underneath that wallet, and then it loads in from that wallet. It's really nice, really nice. Mullica wallet's great. I used it for many, many years. And I love the idea, especially of mix and mingle, of putting a wallet into someone's hand and letting them hold on to it. Not having it in the pocket, but actually saying, look, I'm going to put this into your hand. I'm going to get back to it in a minute. But obviously you can't do that with palmed cards to wallet, because you need to have it in the pocket, because that's where you're going to load the palmed card in as you take it out, if that makes sense. However, I've realized with this wallet, you can actually load a card in. If you do a one-handed top palm, so have the card controlled, do a one-handed top palm, you can then, as you give them the deck and do the one-handed top palm, you can take the, you can pick this wallet up. And because of where it is, with no slide, you can load it from palm very easily as you turn it round. So you can have it on the table, and you can say, actually, hold your hand out for me. I'm going to do a performance of this to camera. This is something I've just been playing around for the last day or so, but you'll get an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. Let me give you a performance. I'll perform it to Ryland, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Ryland, I have inside this wallet, inside the zippered compartment, I have a prediction.
Okay.
Okay, now before we start, do you want to give these cards a shuffle for me? Make sure they're all mixed up. Make sure they are all as they appear to be. You'll notice it's a new pack of cards that I'm just opening to do this trick for you. Are they okay? Do you want to give them a cut as well? Happy? No, you wouldn't do. No, you really don't trust me at all, do you? Are you just trying to do every single shuffle you know? Right?
No, but if I did, I'll be doing a foul.
That's a very good point. Okay, so you're going to grab any card that you want to. It's completely your choice. There are 52 cards here, like I said. So just take out any one that you like. That one there. And I want you to take the pen, write your name on the pen. I'll look away. Write your name with the pen on the card. Nice big letters on the face. And then when you've done that, show the camera so they can see. Okay. You done that? Has the camera seen? Yeah, good. Put the lid on the pen. We don't need the pen anymore. You can put the pen in my top pocket out of the way. There we go. Okay. And just say stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
Right there? Put the card back there. So just in case the people at home didn't see it, I'm going to give them one last look at it. And what I'm going to do is we're just going to bury that card a little bit further down in the deck, so it's near the bottom. Okay? Very important that that card's lost in the deck. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Now, what I want you to do, before we do anything else, I'd like you to give the cards one quick shuffle for me, if you can. And do you remember the wallet that's been here the whole time? At this point, what I would do is I would give this to someone to hold. So we haven't got anyone here. She's over there. I don't want to take it off the camera. So we'll pretend that the person that I'm giving it to is here. Yeah, and we're putting it here. And when you're done, you have to agree that the card is now lost in the deck, right?
Yes.
I'm going to try and cut to your card. Look, you see, if I cut in the right spot, I can cut to the 7 of hearts. Was that your card? No, but that 7 is an indicator card. It indicates if I deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards, I get to the 8.
Not signed.
And the 8 means if I deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I get to, okay, this isn't working. I can't blag this any longer. But to be honest, it wasn't about finding your card. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I said I'd made a prediction. I put a prediction inside this wallet from the very beginning. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And there is a prediction inside here from the very beginning. If I was able to predict your card and the card you picked from the very beginning, would that be good?
Yeah.
But I didn't just predict your card. I actually predicted how you would sign your name. Is that your signed card right there? So that is the only wallet that I've seen that allows you to do that cleanly. And this is something I'm going to work on a little bit more, to be perfectly honest, because I think this has got legs. I love the idea of having a really minimalistic wallet, putting it into the person's hand, and just having it loaded when it's been out on the table from the very beginning. So again, I know you just saw the performance, but there's that 9 of clubs. You would literally just give the cards to someone to hold on to. You've done the one-handed top palm, and I'm going to be able to get this a bit smoother in a bit, but it's just an action of coming up, and it's done. It's like there now. So now you just put that in between the spectator's hands. You're completely clean, and then when they open it up, it's inside there, and it is really that clean. I think that's got legs. The other thing that I like the idea of, and I talked about this with the Nexus wallet, is doing a Kelly bottom replacement from the bottom of the deck. So again, the cards on the table, you can very easily, there you go, let me get this right, you can very easily move this to spread the deck on the table, and in the action of moving it and giving this to someone to hold or whatever, you can then load the card in from that way as well. So there's a couple of ways of loading that card into that wallet without actually needing to have it in the pocket from the beginning. Which is nice. It's really good. And then you don't even need the slide either. So I'm going to play around with this. I really like this. I've got to be honest, Shadow and Nexus are my two go-to wallets. And depending on the situation I'm in, I go one of two ways. But that's not to say this is no good. I really like this. I really do. And I can see a lot of people using this. I'm going to be playing around with it. Because I do use the Nexus wallet mainly for the card to wallet. I don't use it for the peak, really. That's my Shadow wallet that I use for the peak. So I do like this. I know it's really difficult. I have to mark it on whether I think I'd use it, and I think I'm going to play around with it. Whether I continue to do it over Nexus, I don't know. I really like that feature of just doing a one-handed top palm and then coming up here like this and putting it into the hand. I really like that. And if that works as well as I think it will in the real world, and it should do, because the load is done literally in the offbeat. Here, I'll shuffle these cards. Boom, excellent. Can you hold on to that for me? I think that's going to be the swaying point for me, but I'm not too sure. I don't know. Watch for a video on the channel where I compare all of these things after I've reviewed the Hermes wallet. For now, I'm going to give this 98%. I think it's really good. Nobody who gets this is going to be disappointed. It is very well made. It's going to last a lifetime. But I think it's going to last a lifetime. You never know for sure. But I mean, it's leather. It's the zip is really well made. I've put it through the rigmarole. I've gone back and forth several times like this. It's just really good. And obviously, when you work it in, it's going to become even better. So 98%. It's a very fast card to wallet. As long as you realise that card to wallet is pretty much all this does. If you're looking for a good card to wallet with a minimalistic design, this might be the one you want to go for. Now let's have a look at an older Alakazam item. Okay, so next up we are going to look at the Eliminator by Adrian Sullivan, and again by Alakazam Magic, obviously, and this is version 2.0. And even though this is version 2.0, it's still very old. I'll tell you how old this is. On the download, which is about 12 minutes long, and that's all it really needs to be honest, on the download, Peter Nardi has hair. Peter Nardi actually has dark black hair. And it says on here, the effect has been shared with only a select few in the past. Fooled many seasoned professionals. I'm not surprised. This would fool me, to be perfectly honest. This is one of those killer routines that have been kept secret for some time. You'll be blown away by the cleanliness and impossibility of the effect, and also the simplicity. What it is it is a gimmick deck. So you have to carry this deck around to do the trick. But first of all, right, so from a commercial point of view, it resets instantly, which is really good. So you're able to do it to the next table instantly. It's an instant reset. And there's no heat on the deck at the end of the routine. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But I think the best thing to do, if you haven't seen Eliminator 2.0, is for me to perform it for you first of all. So I'm going to do this performance on Sarah and Ryland. Give you a full performance, and then when I've performed it, I'll talk about what I think about it. I'll talk about a couple of things that I think make this really strong. Okay, so I've got Ryland here. Say hi, Ryan.
Hi.
And I've also got Sarah behind the camera. Say hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hey, pack of 52 playing cards here, Ryland. They are all there. They are all different, yes?
Okay, yeah.
Very important that you know there's 52 cards in the deck because we're going to do something. Now, most magicians would have you pick a card by riffling down the deck, either face down or face up. But I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I want you to think of a number from 1 to 52. Have you got it?
Yes.
Now, I want your mom to think of a different number. I don't want her to have the same number as you. So don't say the number just yet, but tell me, is it an odd number or an even number?
Even.
So I want you to think of an odd number. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Sarah's thinking of an odd number. You're thinking of an even number. We're going to use those two numbers to find a playing card from this deck. Okay?
Yeah.
And at this point on, I'm not going to touch the cards. So take the deck, hold them face down. You can do all the dealing because your mom's behind the camera. You can help your mom out as well. Now, ladies go first. That's always polite. So we're going to have your mom go first. You're thinking of an odd number. What number are you thinking of?
9.
And are you happy with 9? Do you want to change your mind?
Oh, fine.
Okay, so what I want you to do, Ryland, is deal 8 cards face down onto the table right there. Nice and loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Lovely. So that's the card that your mum wants. I'm going to turn away. I want to show it to your mum, show it to the camera, and then put it on that pile.
Can I look at it?
Yeah, everyone can look at it. I'm just not going to look at it. Show everyone.
Yeah.
Have we got it? Put it on the pile on the table, and then drop everything on top, right? Burying it and square up. So I couldn't possibly know what the card is. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And it's lost in the middle. Now, you were thinking of a number as well. We're going to do the same thing with your number to get a card for you. What number were you thinking of?
I was thinking of 10.
Wow, right next to 9.
Yeah.
How weird is that? Okay, so you're thinking of 10. So pick the deck up. And are you happy with 10? At this point, you can change your mind if you want to.
Yeah.
You happy with 10?
I'm happy with 10.
Okay, so deal down to the 9th card. So deal 9 cards on the table out loud. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Lovely. Same thing. Look at the 10th card. Show it your mom. Show it the camera. Do not show me. Remember the card. Put it on the table and put the rest on top. Square up. Is that fair?
Yes, it is.
You had a free choice of any number. Your mom had a free choice of any number. No way I could know what your cards are or where they are. I'm just going to put these cards away in my pocket. Okay? Now, let me ask you a question, right? How long would it take you if I told you to go into the pocket and in very, very quickly fiddle around and grab 2 cards and they were the cards that you guys were thinking of? How long do you reckon that would take you?
Well, if I had to do it both, then I can't just do it one, and that's going to be really hard.
It'd be difficult, wouldn't it? It'd be next to impossible because you can't see, you can't... I'm going to do it in
And
less...
you have to do it 2 at the same time.
Yeah, I'm going to do it in less than a second. So when you say go, I'm going to reach into the pocket. I'm going to take out the 2 cards that you guys picked, even though I have no idea what they are or where they are. Well, when you say go, less than a second, watch this. When you say go.
Go.
Go. And I think that was less than a second. I got 2 cards out of a deck of 50 playing cards. Now, if these were your cards, this would be really good. What was the name of your card, Sarah?
8 of hearts.
What was the name of your card, Ryland?
Jack diamonds.
The 8 of hearts and the Jack of diamonds.
Although,
So that's the Eliminator 2.0. A great trick. Now, first of all, obviously, I'm not wearing a jacket. I'm not standing up. I'm sitting behind the table. So I did this in my top pocket. I put the deck in my top pocket, pulled out my top pocket. I think, to be honest, it'd be better if you were standing up and doing this mix and mingle, and you put the cards into your sort of your jacket pocket, to be honest, or your trouser pocket. But you can put them anywhere as long as they're out of the way. I mean, to be honest, you could even put them in the spectator's pocket if you wanted to, and you could still do this trick. Now, there's a few advantages over this. The first advantage is, technically, you don't need a table. Okay, you saw me doing this on Ryland and Sarah with a table, but you don't need a table. You could have the spectator deal the cards into another spectator's hand if you want to. So you don't actually need a table for this. The second thing to consider is when I did the performance, I asked what the numbers were. But you don't need, so I think Ryland thought of 9 and Sarah thought of 10 or the other way around or something. You don't actually need to know the numbers. If you wanted to, you could literally turn around and say, have you got an odd number? Have you got an even number? Brilliant. Deal down to your odd number, have a look at the card, bury it in the deck, deal down to your even number, look at it, bury it into the deck. You don't need to even know what the number is. Okay, I think that's really important. I think it's best to know the number because I want to have some control over the situation. You know, audience managers and in management is important with this sort of trick, but I don't think you need to. You don't need to actually have the number if you don't want it. It'd work just as well without. It's very fooling. That's the other thing I like about this. It is very fooling because it genuinely, the card looks lost in the deck. And if they believe this is a regular deck, which they should do, because it's very, although it's gimmicked, it doesn't look gimmicked. You can spread the deck out. There's no rough and smooth. Like it says here, no rough and smooth, no long and short, no double faces, no misindex, no mark cards, no deck switches, no pocket indexes, no memory work, no slights whatsoever, no forces, nothing written down. And it's all very true. There's nothing, no forces at all. They can genuinely think of any number. They get a different card. It's a different outcome every single time, which is really strong. And like I say, it is a very fooling trick. And I do like the premise behind the trick as well. The whole idea of, hey, have you ever heard that magicians have got quick hands? Well, let me show you how quick my hands are. And, you know, you've got this situation where they genuinely believe that 2 cards are lost in the deck. And then you go into the pocket and boom, in 1 second you bring them out. Killer. Now, we have to bring up the fact that it is a gimmick deck. And even though it doesn't look gimmicked, as I say, you spread them out on the table, you can dribble them, you can even briefly fan them face up if you wanted to, and they wouldn't really be able to see anything. But it is a gimmick deck. You can only use it for this trick. And even though it's instantly reset, it is a gimmick deck. So the question you have to ask yourself, is it worth carrying around a gimmick deck to do this trick? And I think the answer is yes. I think it's a very strong trick for walk around. I don't think its strength is table magic, or it would work for table magic. Of course it would. It would work for banquet. Of course it would. Probably even work on stage. Well, it would work on stage. But I think mix and mingle is where this absolutely shines. And one thing I like the idea of is because you've got a logical reason to put the deck in your pocket. And they don't discuss this on the download, but I think it's worth mentioning. If you have a pocket divider in your pocket, or even if it's just an impromptu pocket divider, even if it's just a piece of cardboard cut out, and you've got a deck that you want to switch in. So let's say I want to do a mem deck trick after this. You could have the mem deck loose in one side of the pocket divider. You put the deck in the other side of the pocket divider, show your hand empty, reach in, take out the 2 cards, and say, hey, are these your cards? And they go, yes. And then you can just take out apparently the rest of the deck, and you've switched a cooler in, you've switched a different deck in, and you've got a very natural reason to switch the deck in. Now you're left with 2 cards that don't belong in that deck, but you can very easily, a couple of different solutions to this. The first solution is you just bring the 2 cards out, show them, yes, they're the cards, and as you go to get the rest of the deck, you ditch the 2 cards in there, or you put the 2 cards on top of the deck and palm them out as you go and get the box, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The point is, I think this is great to be able to switch decks in the middle of a routine. And that's something that's not discussed on the download, but I think it's a really good idea. And if I was going to start doing this on a regular basis, I would be doing it because you can switch decks. Because I do use, you know, anybody who's watched Visible knows that I love gimmick decks. I love carrying gaff decks around. But normally when I'm out gigging, I'll normally have 1 gimmick deck, sometimes 2. I'll have a mem deck most of the time, and I'll have a regular deck. And that's kind of what I'll take with me. And the gimmick deck will vary depending on the gig. It'll depend on the environment I'm performing in. We've talked about this before on the channel. I do like the idea of having this and going into mem deck trick. The other thing that I quite like with this that would work really well is a little while ago on this channel, I reviewed a download by Joel Dickinson, and it's Bound, a routine called Bound, which is similar to this, but with a regular deck, where you take a regular deck and you wrap an elastic band around, and you go into your pocket, and even though the deck has been bound in an elastic band, you still get the card, which is a really nice routine, and I think it makes a great follow-on from this, because you could do this routine, switch in a regular deck, and then go, well, actually, let's see if we can take it one step further. We'll do 1 card this time, but we're going to sign the card. Can you sign the card for me? Brilliant. Right, let's lose it in the pack. And then you go into the Joel Dickinson routine. And I think Joel's routine, Bound, follows this routine really nicely. So it's a nice transition piece, and I love the hook. There's a lot to like about this. And I think a lot of people aren't doing it, and it's a shame. It's a very strong premise. And like I say, I think it'll fool magicians, to be honest. The method is so devious. It really is. I'm going to give this 89%. It's recommended. And if you're a commercial close-up worker, I'd recommend it. I think that it would work really well in anyone's act. And don't forget, this is completely self-working. In fact, it's almost hands-off, except it feels like skill. It feels like you're doing something very skillful. It looks like you're doing something very skillful, but there's no skill involved in it at all. So if you're the sort of person that doesn't like hardcore sleight of hand or difficult sleight of hand, and you want to get something that you can open up and do almost immediately, this is a good one to go for. So yeah, that's Eliminator 2.0, 89% by Adrian Sullivan. Okay, so next up we have Will to Read. Packaging for this is amazing. Will to Read by Alakazam Magic and Steve Della. Now, I have to tell you guys, I'm very good friends with Steve Della. I do a show with him called Phantasmagoria. However, he's part of Netrix. We've been filming last week. However, having said that, I'm going to give this an honest review, and I know that Steve would want me to give this an honest review. Now, this is part of the Wallet series, which consists of Miles Thornton's Sudoku 2.0, Gossip, Contactless Wallet, and now Will to Read. Will to Read came out before the Wallet series even existed. And what this is Steve's version of Free Will. Now, I looked recently at another review show special. I looked at Thy Will Be Done by the 1914, which is another version of Free Will that's designed to fit into a wallet. And you know what? This is a similar premise, but is absolutely different. The two routines, you could probably even do them in the same set or on either table. So you could go Free Will on one table. Sorry, not Free Will. You could do Will to Read on one table, then you could do Thy Will Be Done, then you could do this, then you could do Thy Will Be Done. They complement each other really well, but they are very, very different in every way. So just because you've got one doesn't mean that you might not necessarily want the other. Now, what we have here is the premise of this is that you have a piece of paper that's been torn out of a book. So you've torn a page out of a book, and you've got that with you, and you put that down on the table, and then you go into a free will style presentation where a paragraph on the page predicts the outcome of what people are going to do with a card, a pen, and a coin. And these can all be borrowed items, obviously. Now, Peter Nardi's got a full presentation with this. Steve Della's got a full presentation with this as well. I'm going to perform Steve's version of it because there's more that you can do with this piece of paper than Will to Read, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is a performance of me doing Will to Read to Ryland. Let's have a look at that right now. Okay, Ryan, let me ask you a question. Do you believe in coincidence?
Yeah, it's happened.
It does happen quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I've found sometimes? I'll read something, like in a magazine or in a book, and then it'll happen. So the other day I was reading a book and the main character was eating hot dogs and drinking a beer. And then I went down for lunch and Mommy had made hot dogs and she'd put a beer out. I mean, that's a coincidence. That's a real coincidence. So we're going to try an experiment in coincidence using a random page from a book. I ripped a page out of a book, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now.
And you folded it up.
I folded it up. And I'm going to tell you right now. On this page, there's quite a bit of writing. There's a paragraph on here that I think is going to predict the actions that you're going to take in a second. And I know that sounds really hard to believe, but I'm going to prove it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not me that made the prediction. It's the author of this book, but we'll call it a prediction. We're going to put that right there. And you'll notice I've got three objects here. I've got a Starbucks loyalty card. So I've got a card, I've got a coin, and I've got a pen.
Okay.
Now, you're going to make all the decisions here, Ryan. When I snap my fingers, you're going to pick two of the objects up. Whichever two that you want to pick up is absolutely fine. But when I snap my fingers, pick up two objects.
That one.
That's one. Can you have another object, please?
Yeah. No.
Cool. Now, do you want to change your mind? This is all about choices. If you want to put something back and pick up something else, you can. It's totally up to you. Oh, you do? Do you want to change your mind again? We could do this forever.
No.
Okay. Now what I want you to do is, so you decided on picking up the pen and the card, right?
Yeah.
When I snap my fingers, you're going to put one of those items that you picked up in your pocket. One and one only. Do that right now. Now, do you want to change your mind, or are you happy with that?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So take the coin as well. There's one more decision you need to make. What I want you to do, when I snap my fingers, I want you to hand me one of the items. It's up to you, whichever one you hand me. It's cool. But when I snap my fingers, hand me one of the items. Are you sure you want it that way?
Yes.
You want to change your mind, or are you okay? So you decided to give me the pen. You held onto the coin.
Yeah.
And you put the card in your pocket, right?
Yes.
This is what's really interesting here. I said there was one paragraph on here. And there is one paragraph on here. And it's right here, right at the bottom. And I'm going to read it to you. And I want you to confirm it says what I said. He turned to me, blah, 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 blah. And in here, I will have the pen. I have got the pen. You will have...
You will hold the coin.
You will hold the coin. And what's the last bit say?
And it will always be
the card that goes away out of sight. And you chose to put the card out of sight. You held onto the coin. I hold onto the pen. And we were able to predict every action that you made. Okay, so that's the way that Steve does it, basically. I very much like that premise of coincidence and do you believe in coincidence and then bringing out this piece of paper. And I love the freedom of choice that you're giving everyone. You really are giving them an absolutely free choice. It doesn't feel like there's any equivoque at all. And, you know, I've talked before on this channel about how much I love free will. I do love free will. I did it for many, many years. I stopped doing it because I didn't like the little wooden discs and I didn't like the, you know, it felt a bit too gimmicky for me. Thy Will Be Done and this, both of these routines get away from that gimmickry and kind of make it more organic, if that kind of makes sense. I love the whole premise of putting that page out of the book down on the table. You tell them that that's going to be there from the very beginning, and then you go into the routine. And because of how the routine is constructed, there's no memory work at all. It works the same way every single time. It is as fair. It's not like when I showed it to Ryan and that's the best outcome. Far from it. It looks as good as that every single time you do it, which is super cool. It's also very easy to do. There's no sleight of hand. There's no skill at all. It's just getting your head around what you say and what you do. Now, you get lots in this package. Let me talk about a few things that you get. So first of all, you get a card here, which is a crib. And because what Steve has also done is on this piece of paper that you saw me use when I performed to Ryland, he's also built in his All About Eve book test into this page. If you don't know All About Eve, it's Steve's book test. It is, in my opinion, one of the best book tests on the market. He's built that into Will to Read. So on this piece of paper, as a separate trick, or as part of the same set, and we'll get to that in a minute, you can have somebody look over both sides of the page at the book, pick a big word like 7 letters or more, and then you can tell them what word they're thinking of. And this is a crib that allows you to do this. There's a little bit of memory work with that. There's no memory work with the actual Will to Read presentation. There's a little bit of memory work with all the kind of All About Eve style thing, but not too much. And you can have this crib, and Steve and Peter on the download, they talk about how you can actually have this crib in your wallet. So you have them think of a word, and they do think of a word, and then they give you a reason to go into the pocket, into the wallet, and as you go into the wallet, you get this crib, and it allows you to know immediately with no memory work the word that they're thinking of. Now, Steve talks about how he does this as a separate routine, completely separate routine. Peter has this whole act built into it. So what he does is he starts off by having them, he's got this whole premise and he's got this whole sort of preamble that gets into the whole thing, and then he gets them to think of a word. Then he goes into the free will style, the free will to read style premise, does that, controls their actions apparently. And then he finishes off by telling them the word they're thinking of. So it links really nicely. And that's kind of like a 10-minute routine. And they talk about how this, just one piece of paper in your wallet, can be a 15-minute act. And it can. And I'll tell you how in a bit. But so this card allows you to do the book test part of this with no memory work. You also have this, which is the Cambridge. It's another card that you get, and it says Cambridge University on one side, and it says letter placement test. And on the other side, it's this thing that pops up on Facebook sometimes, where it talks about where the words and the letters are completely messed up on this sentence, on this paragraph, and you get them to read this out. And even though everything's completely messed up, they can read it very, very easily. And this is the premise that Peter uses when he performs the routine. So he talks about the Cambridge University letter test, letter placement test. And he says the whole idea is that your brain will rearrange the words. Let's use this as an example, and then he goes into the routine. So you actually get that card to be able to do that as well. You also get, now you get a few different pieces of paper that will last you quite a long time. You get a double-sided ones. You get several double-sided ones. Like the one that I used, and you also get some single-sided ones, like there are some single-sided ones in here. There are somewhere. I must have left them over there. But you get some single-sided pieces of paper as well. And you also get a double envelope in here, because there's an alternate way of actually doing this using two single-sided pieces of paper and a double envelope. In my opinion, it's not as good as the way that I just showed it you. And both Peter and Steve talk about how that's the main way that they perform it. The other thing that they've built into this one single sheet of... It's crazy that this one page out of a book can do so much. It really is crazy. But the other thing that you get with this whole thing is you get... it's designed to work with the BIP test. So if you don't know the bit book, again, it's marketed by Alakazam Magic, and it's basically a book that allows you to force various different things. Like you can force Paris, you can force the Eiffel Tower, you can force numbers, shapes, a whole bunch of different stuff. Well, there's a paragraph on this piece of paper, on this page out this book, that basically predicts everything that somebody can pick out of the bit book. So if you've got the bit book, you've basically got a 15-minute act. If you just have that bit book in your pocket and you have this piece of paper in your wallet, you've got a 15-minute mentalism act, because you can start by doing the book test. Then you can go into Will to Read, which makes a nice opener into the whole thing, and then you can finish off by doing the bit book up to 5 different people, and having that all revealed on this book as well. It's crazy, really, when you think about it. It really is. This is the sort of thing that would work on stage. This is, I mean, you see all the live performances, is Steve doing this close up, because it is a great close up trick, but it also works really well on stage. Look, I've talked an awful lot on this channel about how I love everyday carry. I hate being in a situation where somebody says, hey, you're a magician, do me a trick, I've got nothing on me. Which is why I'm obsessed with stuff like gossip. It's why I'm obsessed with routines that I can do anytime, anywhere, at the drop of a hat, without thinking about it. And that's what this is. This is one sheet out of a book that you can put into your wallet, and you are good to go anytime, anywhere. And once you understand how this works, this is something that you can keep in your wallet. And if you don't do it for a month or two, you'll remember how to do it immediately. Because I think the real power with Will to Read, it might not necessarily be the thing that people do at every single gig. Although, to be honest, if you're going to go into a close-up mentalism set, this is a great in. Because it's a very simple premise. You borrow the items, you just have the piece of paper that you put down there. It's a very simple premise. They make all the decisions and you've predicted it. It's over in a few seconds. It's really quick. It's really powerful. It would make a great opener if you're going to do walk around mentalism. But I think the real power in this is having it in the wallet. And when somebody says, hey, do me a trick, you can take this out and you can do it. And I guarantee you, when you catch me out and about, you ask to look in my wallet, I'm going to have Will to Read in there, because I really, really like it. I'm going to give this 99%. I think this is really good. And I think that I think this is a killer, actually. I think this is a real killer routine. I'm not saying that Thy Will Be Done is no good. I think that Thy Will Be Done and this work really well in conjunction. And I'd be interested to see if you could actually do them both in the same act. Maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. Would it be overkill? Or would it actually work? Let me know. Do you have Will to Read and Thy Will Be Done? Do you think they could work in the same act? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so the final routine we're going to be looking at today is Trilogy Extreme by Brian Caswell, Peter Nardi, and the explanations done by Peter Nardi and Dave Loosely. Now, Trilogy Extreme is a killer trick. I've got a friend called Cy Pedal, who is an incredible musician and a very good magician. And Cy is not the greatest sleight of hand artist in the world. He'll never profess to be the greatest sleight of hand artist in the world. However, what Cy is incredible at is presentation and just getting people to buy into who he is and what he's doing. And Trilogy is something that I've seen him do on almost every single table, every single gig I've worked with him. And I've gone to gigs and I've done my best stuff at table. And then he's gone out afterwards and done this one self-working trick. And all anyone can talk about is this. And I think that just tells you how strong this trick is. This trick is incredibly strong. If you don't know what it is, there's so many different ways of actually presenting this. There's so many different ways of performing this. I'm going to give you the basic presentation for Trilogy Extreme. So I'm going to give you the basic presentation. I'm going to perform this to Ryland, who's never seen it. I'm going to perform this to Sarah, who's never seen it. Actually, she might have seen Cy do it. I don't know, but Ryland definitely hasn't seen it. So I'm going to perform this to these guys, and then once I've performed it to them, I'll talk about what I love about this. I'm telling you right now, this is going to get 100%. I love this. Okay, so I've still got Ryland and Sarah behind the camera, and we're going to try and do some mind reading right now with the deck of cards. Okay. This is a very strange deck, and I'll show you why it's a very strange deck in a minute. But what I did is I took a pack of cards and I shuffled them, yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got 52 cards, they're all there, they're all different. I shuffled each one of these cards, and then what I did is I took a shuffled deck and I wrote numbers on the back of them from 1 to 52. So I just basically wrote numbers on the back of the cards, a bit like when you were trying to memorise a deck, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going to try and do something with this. We'll put them away for a minute. First of all, let's go with you, Ryland. I want you to think of a number. A number from 1 to 52. It can be an odd number or an even number, but I want to know if it's odd or even because I'm going to get your mom to think of a number and I want it to be a different number. So any number from 1 to 52?
It's odd.
It's an odd number. Okay. Yes. So think of that odd number for a minute. Sarah, can you think of an even number from 1 to 52?
Yeah.
Very good. So here's what I want you to do, Ryan. I want you to imagine that we've got a jack of clubs.
Okay.
I want to imagine that you've got a jack of clubs, yes?
Yes.
And in your imagination, you've got this jack of clubs and it's in front of you and it's absolutely massive. And then you turn it around, and when you turn it around, the number you're thinking of is written on the back of it in big blue ink. Okay. What is that number?
9.
9, is it really?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Now, Sarah,
yeah.
I want you to imagine that there's a 3 of hearts.
Right.
And I want you to imagine that you take that 3 of hearts and then to imagine that you turn it around and the number you're thinking of is on the back of the 3 of hearts. What's the number?
Mine's an even number, yeah?
Yeah.
28.
28, your age. Lovely. Now, I want you to imagine one more thing, Ryland. We'll do this with you. I want you to imagine that you're looking at a card with a number written on the back of it. Let's just say 37.
Okay.
You turn that card around and you look at the face of it. What card is it? Obviously, not the 3 of hearts or the jack of clubs.
King of hearts.
It's the King of Hearts, is it? Okay. And would you agree that you guys have made all of the choices and all of the decisions there, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's first of all take Ryland's card, which was 9. So we're looking for 9. You can help me here, right? We're looking for 9 and 28, actually, because all of the numbers are here. So if you see 9, or there's 27 there, if you see 9 or you see 28, if you could let me know.
28, I just saw 28.
Did you just see 28?
Yeah.
That's 28, wonderful. So we'll put that one there.
No.
Hopefully there'll be a 9 in there as well somewhere. Apparently not. There's going to be a 9 in here somewhere. Calm down, Ryland. Relax. There'll be a 9 in here somewhere. Relax, Ryland. Relax. There's going to be a 9 in here somewhere.
There.
That's a 9. There we go.
And then 37.
And then 37. But you said King of Hearts, didn't you?
Yeah.
So let's just take the King of Hearts out. You see the King of Hearts?
Yes.
There it is. Brilliant stuff.
Okay.
Wonderful stuff. So again, you made all the decisions, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Sarah, you imagined the, you said, and it was 9 yours?
Ryland.
Ryland, you said 9, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you could have said any card, number, you said 9.
Yeah.
And yet, check this out, the 9 is written on the back of the Jack of Clubs.
Right.
And you said 28.
It is.
And the weird thing is, 28 is written on the back of the 3 of Hearts.
What?
But then this is the weirdest one, because I told you to imagine the 37 was written on the back of one card, and you said the King of Hearts. And on the back of the King of Hearts, we have the number 37 right there. And that is a perfect prediction. So there you go, that's Trilogy Extreme. Now, the way I did it is I wrote things down on Post-it notes. I didn't have any business cards with me, so I wrote them down on Post-it notes. That works absolutely fine. When I've seen Si do this in the past, he actually has the predictions in envelopes, which is kind of really interesting. And he has an envelope, and inside the envelope's put down on the table from the beginning, and he does the whole thing, and then he opens up the envelope, and he's got the predictions written down in there, which is a great way of doing it. There's so many different ways you can do this. Peter's got a really nice version of this with a coin that works really well, which you can have a look at. That's really good. There's also another version of it with 3 envelopes, which I thought was very clever. So he's got 3 envelopes, and he gets them to mix up the envelopes and keep one, and then pass them back to him, and somebody else takes an envelope, and somebody else takes an envelope. Then you get them to make all the decisions. When they've made all the decisions, they open up the envelopes, and then the prediction matches the decision they've made, which sounds weird, but it's just really, really cool. Peter's even got a presentation and a way of doing this on stage as a chair test. So, and he talks about how you can do this in front of 200 or 300 people, and he combines Trilogy with a chair test. So you've got like these chairs set up on stage, you have people sit down wherever they want to, they're making all the decisions, and the predictions match on the chairs that they're actually sitting down on. There's a lot you can do with this, and it is a real fooler. The first time I saw this, I was completely fooled. I was kind of with it for the first couple of phases, and then the last part just completely blew me away. Not that having a trick as a magician fooler is important, but you know, the thing you need to understand about this is it's very easy to do. It's completely self-working. It allows you to focus on presentation. It is an instant reset. You don't need a table if you don't want to use a table. It's an engaging presentation. It's not the sort of thing that you want to use in a nightclub. It's not the sort of thing you want to use in a really noisy environment like a corporate Christmas party. But right time, right place. Weddings, this is perfect for. Close-up magic, where restaurants, this is great for. There's a lot of places where this would work really, really well, and it'll just bring the house down. Although it's mentalism, and it is mentalism, you can also present it as mental magic. It doesn't have to be straight up Max Maven, Darren Brown style mentalism. You can do this as mental magic as well. You can play it in so many different ways. Pete has a really nice version of this on the download. Download's about an hour long. And then there's other videos as well when you register the project with Alakazam. But Pete's got a really nice walk around, mix and mingle piece with this that streamlines it right down. And it's based on Phil Plus, if you know Phil Plus. And the whole idea is that you show that you've got a deck of cards, and you say that you've wrote a number on the back of them. Sorry, you show that you've got a deck of cards, you show that you've got numbers written on the back of all of them, and you tell, you say a number, and then you say, right, okay, we've got this number here, can you do me a favour, name a card? They name the card, they take it out, and the number that you've named is on the back of the card, which I thought was really good. If you want to make that even better, the way I've been thinking this would work as a mix and mingle piece is bringing out the deck of cards, getting someone to hold on to it, doing toxic with a very low number. So, because the number has to be less than 52. So put in a single digit number, hit plus, put in a single digit number, hit plus, put in a single digit number, hit plus, put in a single digit number, hit takeaway, put a single digit number in, and you end up with this number, which is maybe 37, for example. And then you go, fantastic. So between us, we all worked out this number of 37. No one could have known that. And now there's 52 cards in the deck. Name any card. Oh, the 4 of diamonds. Okay, whatever. Cool, brilliant. You open up the deck and you say, look, I've written a number on the back of every single card. What number did you say? 37. You did, didn't you? And that was 37. It was the 4 of diamonds. Let's take out the 4 of diamonds. We'll put the rest of the deck away. 4 of diamonds has number 37 on the back. I mean, that's killer. That's absolutely killer, and it's very easy to do. You can do it straight away. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways of actually performing this. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do with this. Peter and David and Brian have put some really some very interesting thoughts into this. Like I said, I'm going to give it 100%. Everything on this review show has been great. I love the Jameson wallet. I love Will to Read. I love Eliminator 2.0. But this, for me, is the trick of the review show. I think Trilogy Extreme is absolutely brilliant. So there you go, guys. That is another review show special in the bag. Thank you once again for tuning in and being a part of this review show special. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you would like to see me do a review show special on something else, please let me know in the comments down below. What would you like me to do on? Would you like me to do on a creator or a product? You let me know and I'll make it happen. Also, don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back on Monday with a 5x5 at 9 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we're going to have a shorts, and at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a Magic Live. Thank you very much for watching and checking everything out. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic.